I do love the spin on the Bud Light situation. The way that the media is just circling the wagons, just trying to will it back to first place because they have the right politics, they have the right ideas. It's fascinating, okay? Because normally all of these big businesses, okay, as time goes on, it's that uncomfortable truth that the Fortune 500 companies, most of them end up falling off at the end of a decade or so. Like of the first batch of companies, I think it's only like 5 end up, going through or are even still on the list for like the 80s. I forget. Like it's massive turnovers. The whole idea, too big to fail, popularized by Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Well, kind of like Biden's presidency. It's just not reflective of reality. If you do something that is irresponsible, if you denigrate your customers, you are asking to fail. The only people supporting Anheuser Busch at this point in time is in fact the establishment hacks in media. But is anybody really surprised? So the way that they are spinning, okay, this is from a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, you guys remember the earnings call where they said, yeah, it's not all that bad. Domestically, we only lost, $395 million. Like, it's not that bad. And our market cap is only down $40 billion. But, what's just a couple of bucks between friends, right? But now you got the Globe and Mail here, which, of course, a Canadian publication, which the wokeness is already baked into it. So the way that they're trying to spin this, it's pretty legendary spin. The Bud Light boycott doesn't seem to be damaging Anheuser-Busch as a diverse business. See, guys, they have the right politics, and we can go ahead and work in diverse. Ooh, can we get a few more Trudeau dollars? That'd be fantastic. Many of Anheuser-Busch InBev's conservative customers were upset the company earlier this year after learning that Bud Light brand had entered a marketing promotional deal with tranny influencer Dylan Mulvaney. This led to calls of a boycott of the brand. Remember, guys, just the conservative customers. There was no LGBTQ, LMNOP, LGHDTV customers that were boycotting the brand. Of course, there weren't any bars, like 5 of them in Chicago, that ended up getting rid of them and taking them off tap. Couldn't have possibly been the case at all. Just those dastardly hillbillies that are out there. Anheuser-Busch isn't in a bad shape. In fact, the company is coming off of a strong quarter thanks to its diverse and global business. See, guys, just because things are bad domestically doesn't mean that the brand in general isn't doing great. While the sales in the United States did drag the company's overall performance in North America down, Anheuser-Busch did well in other parts of the world. Okay, that's great. Okay, we weren't really talking about Anheuser-Busch. For as much as the tertiary brands associated with Bud Light did fall off, nothing fell off quite as hard or as fast as Bud Light, rather. Now, Budweiser is a close second. Well, not all that close. It was about a third of the drop-off that Bud Light proper ended up receiving was disseminated to its father brand, and then, of course, Michelob Ultra, a couple of, I think, like Natural Light or Busch Light also ended up feeling a little bit of a pinch, but overall, the rest of that stuff has rebounded, whereas Budweiser and Bud Light really hasn't. So that's what they're just kind of looking at here. And given the different distribution rights that Anheuser-Busch has, because, the number one beer in North America, or America, however you want to categorize it, is Modelo Especial right now, but who has the international distribution rights to that? All right. That would be InBev Anheuser-Busch. So yeah, they're totally going to be fine. And the way that they want to conflate that, see, conservatives, your stupid boycott isn't working. Well, guess what? It's not just a conservative boycott. Yes, it's working, because here we are, 5 months after the fact, and you guys are still trying to run puff pieces on it. Like, come on, man. If you guys actually cared, you would go and talk to the people who it's actually affecting. We take it personal. Bud Light boycott hurts independent distributors. Yeah, those are the people that are actually feeling the pinch. Of course, Anheuser-Busch ended up laying off 300 or so odd executives. It was probably a lot of fluff that was eventually going to get laid off. And yeah, it kind of sucks whenever somebody has to, cut costs. But it's far less acceptable when it is something that could have been totally prevented when, you guys decided to go on the attack against your customers. You could have kept all of them around. You could have had those high-priced coffee fetchers still there, but nope, you blew it all up. National backlash. Oh, see, at least this is a little bit more accurate. National backlash against a new marketing strategy by the makers of Bud Light is causing pain for local businesses, including an Auburn beverage distributor. Last April, oh yeah, so this is in the South. So yeah, of course, like this guy's going to be feeling the pinch. We've seen those state by state, or I guess region by region breakdowns of the different drop-offs. And yeah, the South ends up feeling it the most because that's where your largest share of beer drinkers actually are. So it makes sense to care about these people. Last April, Bud Light partnered with transgender influencer. Yeah. We know all the stuff, okay, promoting Bud Light's March Madness contest. Soon after, conservatives, including Ben Shapiro. I didn't hear little Benny Boy's take on it, and frankly, I don't care. Which beer tastes best, sipping it out of a yarmulke? I don't care. Is Bud Light kosher? Who gives a shit? What does your doctor wife recommend? Frankly, I don't care. Ron DeSantis, yeah, he ended up killing the party, just going, hey, this is woke beer, and we don't like woke beer in Florida. Woke. We're gonna go, and we're gonna stick it to the big companies. You won't be able to get a Bud Light at Disney World anymore. Awkward smile. Oh, he's just a robot. And musician Kid Rock, who would later come back to Bud Light. But no, that's totally fine. It's like, bro, if you're going to take such a public stand against it, take the precautions. When you're out in public, if you like Bud Light, that's totally fine. But when you come out and you just start, emptying a clip on a couple of 24-packs, you got to expect people are going to be watching your every public move. It was kind of stupid, but at the same time, people were also pointing out, it's like, oh, Kid Rock, he was the MC for WWE SummerSlam. And what was the other big sponsor for WWE SummerSlam this year? Oh, Bud Light. Oh, okay, that totally makes sense. Again, somebody got the call. Months later, the boycott is still in place. Bud Light sales dropped 10.5%. Anheuser Busch released a statement regarding the controversy. In the last month, Anheuser Busch laid off hundreds of positions due to a decline in sales. But yeah, what about the contractors? What about the people who make the connections, sell the products? What happened to their bottom line? Because we know, okay, to Anheuser-Busch's credit, they're going to be helping out their truck drivers, their warehouse staff in the interim towards the end, and I believe it's through the end of the year. So they're at least looking after their own, the frontline workers that are out there being the public face of the company. Shout out to them for that. The one good thing that they've managed to do throughout this entire controversy is at least look after their own. But as for their distributors, this is where things get a little bit sketchy. You might be able to pay them off with a couple $100, but hey, if it's their job to go out there and sell a brand that you couldn't even sell to a dying man dying of thirst, then that's a problem. That affects their commissions, okay? And given a long enough time, that'll eventually impact the volume discounts and a whole bunch of other things that salesmen would have had access to had you not drug this out for as long as you did. The boycott just doesn't hurt the executive side of the company. It hurts the local distributors even more. Quality Beverage General Manager Craig Calerno said, Quality Beverage is an independent, family-owned Massachusetts beer wholesaler located in Auburn. Okay. Or is this Auburn, Mass? Well, okay, that would make a little bit more sense because I hear Auburn and then I think Alabama. Universities and shit. We take it personal, Calerno said. I don't think people realize that boycotting a brand doesn't hurt the executive. It hurts the local person like me and my salespeople and my delivery drivers. It hurts us more. Yeah, 1,000%. That's what I was pointing out very early in this. But now, hey, man, everybody's feeling the pinch. But then at the same time, if you're just publishing this in order to shame people to come back and buy your product, I don't know, maybe just pivot your business now, bro. They ain't coming back. I like Calerno better. That's your name now. Said between all three quality beverage facilities, they sold and delivered 100,000 less cases of Bud Light in June. I'm sorry, what? Through three? Unless these are massive, okay, football field sized warehouses. Like, that's a lot, man. That is fantastic amount of stock. I don't think we'll return to the kind of levels of business that we're doing. No, exactly. And pretty much every analyst is just peeking in and going, yeah, about that 25-30% of people just ain't coming back. When your business is down 25 to 30% overnight, there it is. If you continue to operate the way that you're doing with the number of people that you have, unfortunately, the business starts to just not be profitable or sustainable. Bud Light used to be one of Quality Beverage's highest selling brands of beer, Calerno said. Now that boycott has caused the sales to plummet. $5-10 grand hit to employees at the local level is a lot of money. Yeah, exactly. Especially if that was his commissions. Oh my God, just overnight like that. Hey, basically 75% of your sales. I don't have specific numbers or anything like that, but I would imagine in a month, that's probably pretty good, especially for some of your top sales guys. If they're just moving that much product. Yeah, exactly. 5, 10, 15 grand like that, just all of a sudden going, no, we're good. No, I got mouths to feed. Stupid. What are we doing here? Maybe we're a shareholder of an executive at Anheuser Busch. They don't feel it as much as these local people. Exactly, because they end up with just really awful connections. They're the ones laying the foundations. They are the brokers of the product. The people who are making it, they don't care where it goes. It's just these sales guys who I do feel for. 100%. Sales is not an easy job, especially if you have a product like Bud Light. Oh my God. The moment that a customer, okay, as somebody who sold, like even with my experience when it comes to selling safety products or something like that, people have their preferences in their mind, okay? Just for simplicity's sake, and I can't quite remember all the different names for anything, but if somebody only buys Carhartt and you're coming in with Helly Hansen, you got to have a bitch of a pitch in order to even try to break through, and it's got to be consistent effort in order to make them make the switch. And that's just breaking through somebody's personal preference. Now, here, you're trying to buck all of society? Man, just for no good reason, through a no fault of your own. That was really tough. Dan Fields, the sales manager of Quality Beverage, said the boycott has directly impacted employees on the sales team. Sales reps can't get paid on commission. And if they don't sell, they do not get paid for it. Exactly. And it's not like these guys have access to every beer in the book. Like, okay, if they're just selling Anheuser Busch products, they probably have exclusivity deals. That means dealing with Labatt Molson products. Maybe not, or you would only end up having access to a small amount of domestic product. Especially, it's like there's a whole bunch of other background deals or backroom deals that could have been done in order to facilitate better pricing, more access to product. But then the moment that this happens like this, there are some stupid things that companies can do. I remember when the big thing for Ford trucks, okay, they used to have Firestone tires. They probably still do on their vehicles. But the moment that the whole Firestone thing, where you had a whole bunch of blown rubber on the side of the road and people just ended up getting into life-altering traffic accidents because their tires kept blowing up, that was a tough time to sell Fords. But outside of those black swan events, it's like you don't really bank on stuff like this. And even with all the bad press that Ford was getting back in the days, like that got turned around reasonably quickly. This right here, quick is the one of the few words not associated with with this abomination. It's affected salespeople's lives tremendously. The company had to downsize its employees and vehicles. Calerno said it had received some financial supports from Anheuser Busch too, which can be used for local advertising and employee incentives to offset wages lost in commissions. Oh, so that all came with red tape around it. Okay, so yeah, you can go ahead and advertise more Bud Light stuff. Great. So go ahead and advertise the product that we killed. We'll give you money for that, and then at the same time, yeah, we'll also have better incentives in order for you to sell the product that we ended up nuking and ultimately, costing you money on your bottom line. So they poisoned a product, and now they're just going to say, oh no, don't worry. If you sell more of that poison product, we'll give you a better cut on it. It's like siding with a schoolhouse bully after he's been kicking you in the nuts for a year. And then it'll tell you that, oh yeah, you know how I'd always used to beat the piss out of you every week? Well, now I'll just do it bi-weekly if you just come over here and work for me. It's not really going to work out very well for you. In the wake of the boycott, Calerno released a letter he wrote on behalf of his staff and crew, urging customers to support local businesses and distributors. Yeah, we can't really sell our product, so we're just going to resort to shaming tactics. That should work, right? I hope it ends soon. Oh my Christ. We'll weather the storm. We'll try to make the point where we're a good neighbor and we've been part of the community for a lot of years. We want that to continue. Please buy our stuff. Our guys are going hungry. Our kids are, well, you know what? Hey man, it's going to get so bad that if we don't move this product, if you guys don't stock this in your store, we're going to have to start feeding this Bud Light to our kids. And we like them, man. We don't want them to become transgender. So if you would just please go ahead and buy the product, you could keep everybody safe. I don't know how well that a plea to emotion's going to work, but best of luck to you guys. But desperate times call for desperate measures. But if I was in those positions, if I was the manager of these companies, yeah, I'd be looking for different ways in order to get out from the Anheuser Titanic. That's currently sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Both all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.